What's going on, guys? Magdallan here. I am knee deep in the Path of Exile Sanctum League at the moment, but in the back of my mind, I've been thinking about Torchlight now and then. So I popped over to the Steam page, and there were several developer posts that I hadn't seen before. And it looks like they're already talking about changes that they plan on doing for Season 2, and so I wanted to share some of that stuff with you guys and basically just talk about how well I think that the development team is doing with addressing all the issues. If I had made a list, when I was still actually playing that league, their season one, I think they would have hit everything that I would have listed. So it looks like they're doing some stuff with controller support, which is great. I thought that was already a thing in the game, but let me know in the comments if I'm wrong there. Maybe it was Undecember that had controller support. I played that and Torchlight at the same time, and so maybe I'm just confused there. But either way, this is fantastic. And with the training dummy, they are hesitant to adjust the max DPS that it records, and their reasoning is they don't want players to be hyper focused on DPS only, which I suppose is a fine enough reason. Although I would prefer if they aired a little bit more on the side of just giving us the correct data. However, they're going to add things like recording which skill is doing the most damage and the damage type that's being done, and I think that's positive. And then they're also going to add some stuff to the info panel on the character screen, like damage over time and summoning skill info. And again, I think that's just generally good stuff. The info panel wasn't 100% what I thought that it could be, and it didn't really display all the information that I think you would want at a glance. And so anything they're doing to make that better is going to add polish. It's going to make everything smoother. It's going to allow people to understand what's going on with their character more quickly. So all good there. And then my favorite change is it looks like they're going to basically implement a workaround that allows you to do PoE style gameplay with the map on in your, on the overlay on the top of the middle of your character, and be able to click and still move around and do things without it sort of interrupting the gameplay as it was in Season 1. And for people like me who have a lot of Path of Exile motor memory, that's going to be fantastic, especially since they have to know that what's going to happen a lot of the time is, especially given that they've sort of picked a development cycle that does this, the Path of Exile League is going to get into its, second month when a lot of people start to drop off. And you're going to get a lot of people coming over to this game from Path of Exile. And so we're all going to be hitting the button to throw up the mini map and take a look, and it's going to interrupt the gameplay. So this should address that. Fantastic. I couldn't be happier about that. And then they're going to add drop location info to the tooltips for all base items and legendary items. I think that's fantastic. It's always good to have more information easily available, and knowing where items drop when you see them is going to make things easier. It's going to allow people to farm easier. So I think that's good. And then it looks like they're going to do 5 new skills, which I think is really cool. I wouldn't have expected this many for just their second league, but here we go. There is Haunting Abomination, which is like an erosion AoE circle thing. Looks pretty neat. And then the one that I'm going to play is Blazing Bullet, which is kind of like an AoE fan shot type thing that does little explosions when it hits the mobs. I thought it looked really cool. On the post, they have little videos of each one, and I just think it looks pretty good. It looks like it's designed well, and I want to try that one out, so we're going to make a build for that. And then there is Thunder Slash, which is essentially Lightning Flame Slash. Looked really cool. And then the only one I thought was sort of weak is called Howling Gale, and that's basically a channeled, you just shoot out tornadoes thing. I'm not really interested in that. And then there is Moonstrike, which is sort of a similar to the Flame Slash type deal, but it's got like 2 strikes, it looks like, in the video. And it alternates between a building phase and a bursting phase. And so that could be really neat. Maybe the scaling in that burst phase is going to be really crazy, and that could be fun to mess around with. And then it looks like they're going to nerf Whirlwind, which I did not play, so I won't know the difference. It'll all feel the same to me, but let me know in the comments below what you guys think of this if you played Whirlwind. It looks like they're removing the 100% steep strike thing that was going on, and they're toning down the AoE. And then they're adding a mechanic where it's going to summon a secondary whirlwind thing on enemies when it hits max stacks. So maybe that'll be super cool. And hopefully it does just adjust it and put it more in line with other skills. Hopefully they're not going to take the Path of Exile route and just kind of like nuke it into the ground. But we'll see how that goes. And then the last thing, and probably the most impactful thing, is trade house changes. It looks like they're going to add a transaction tax to the auction house. And I think that's awesome. I think that'll basically, I don't think the game needed to be saved, but this will allow their leagues to be more serious things that you can sink your teeth into and grind and feel like your work is going to matter for more than just a couple weeks at the beginning of the league. I think this will allow them to drag it out, so to speak, and continue the fun, keep things interesting, and keep the market stable much longer into the season than they were able to the first time around. So this development team seems like they have their priorities basically in line. I'd like to see some better translation stuff and some better tooltip information, passes going on as well. Hopefully they're doing that and just not directly mentioning it in these posts. But all in all, I think this is going to shape up to be a really good, addition to the game, as it were. And I hope that the new season mechanic that they introduce is as fun as the first one was. And that is about all I have on Torchlight for today. I will be back very soon with another Path of Exile video. And of course, if the devs for Torchlight give us any more news that is worthy of a video, I will certainly make it. And otherwise, if you found anything interesting or entertaining in the video, please do hit the like and subscribe button, and I will see you guys in the next one. I appreciate you.